Coming up on today's Michigan Football Report, we are going to talk about the Myles Pollard commitment, how it impacts his whole recruiting class, and where Jim Harbaugh and staff take it from here. And with this recent flurry of commitments, where does Michigan stand in the latest recruiting rankings? We'll kind of take a look at the top 10, see where Michigan's ranked, and what they maybe need to do to kind of keep popping up those recruiting rankings, which could be impacted by our third story, are more commits coming to this program. One of the guys who just joined the class teased out that Michigan might not be done, and there may be more announcements here in the next few days. Before we get into those stories, though, I'm going to ask you guys to just do it. Just do it. I think there's a viral video of a guy doing that out there. I need 12 subscribers, or the production staff is going on strike. They said, James, you've been asking Michigan fans in the offseason to subscribe. Audience has been decent, but, I mean, no one's really doing it as much as they used to. So if they're not going to subscribe, we are striking. So unless you want to see iPhone Yoder in my mom's basement like Sam Webb, I need 12 subscribers from this video to youtube.com/Michigan TV. We're going to talk all those stories and a little bit more on the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports coming up right now. Before we start the show, a little bit of a personal confession to you guys. Something that's been on my mind, been affecting my personal, my home life, my work life, is I've got an addiction. And it's really taken over everything I do. And I am addicted, folks, to Magic Spoon cereal, okay? That's no joke. Like, no jokes about this at all. Magic Spoon, I've been eating it nonstop. But I'm not gaining any weight because it is so good for you. I want you guys to be able to get $5 off. I'll tell you more about the benefits of Magic Spoon in a minute. MagicSpoon.com/GoBlue. Type that URL into your browser. You will get $5 off your order with Magic Spoon cereal. We're talking Michigan football recruiting, though, on today's show. And this Michigan football 2022 recruiting class is on fire as of late. And I know there's some people out there not super happy with the rankings of some of the players, some 3 stars, and I'm a stargazer too, as much as the next guy, but showing some talent, and I believe that the recruiting staff and some of these assistant coaches are much more proven talent evaluators than some of the folks that exited the program this offseason. And Myles Pollard is today's top story. Committed this afternoon, had a announcement from his high school in Tennessee, had 3 hats on the table. Oklahoma, Michigan. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. He didn't have any hats on the table. That was actually a funny story. Most guys usually do have them. He pulled a hat out, though, put the Michigan hat on. Most of his family did as well. Oklahoma and Auburn were his other 2 finalists for a final 3. Visited all those schools this month, in the month of June, took his official visits, and signed or committed today to Michigan. Likely to be an early enrollee from what it seems like to join the class, sign in December, and then be on campus in January. The 15th commitment from this class, and really half of those commitments just about have come in the past 2 or 3 weeks. So going to go through the class here in a second, also show you where Michigan is ranked in the top 10 of the 24/7 Sports Composite. But Myles Pollard, I like the commitment. Michigan's been all over him for a while. I sometimes feel comfortable with who his other finalists are. Auburn, Oklahoma, they've done a good job with bringing in top talent in the secondary as of late. So exciting, to say the least, is what this commitment is. Rivals has him as a 4-star, although 24/7 and ESPN have him as a high 3-star, so his composite ranking is a 3-star, number 439 overall in the country, number 39 over in the country. And take a look at the photos. You've seen these on the show before. He was rocking the all-blue Michigan number 2 Charles Woodson style. And even though 24/7 and ESPN and Rivals, very pro-Ohio State biased media outlets, the JY365 has him as a very high 4-star, number 36 overall in our 2022 rankings. So the unbiased JY365 has him as a top 50 player, consensus top 50 player in the country, number 36 overall. I'm excited. You've got 3 guys between Cody Jones, obviously Will Johnson, the 5-star, top 10, 12 player in the country, and now Myles Pollard in the secondary, which has got to be Michigan's biggest focus with the quarterbacks and wide receivers that Ohio State's bringing in. There's absolutely nothing else that Michigan should be focusing on other than bringing in top-level players to combat that passing game. And speaking of Ohio State, they're still the number 1 class in the country. They had the number two class the past 2 years, 2020, 2021, and really over the past decade, they really had one down class, which was that 2019 transition class when Urban Meyer was exiting the program, Ryan Day was taking over. It was also the first year of the December signing period, so they're up against it there. But since then, number two class, which frankly, with JT Tuamala committing on 4th of July, you can make an argument that Ohio State might have the best recruiting class in the country. Alabama had more players, so they are still ranked number one in the 2021 class. Ohio State, though, number one in 22. Penn State, Notre Dame. I mean, look, these are teams Michigan's going to face, not Notre Dame in the near future, but certainly have throughout history. Florida State, LSU are rounding out your top five. We're going to kind of pop over here through six to take a look at 6 through 10 coming up here in just one moment. Before we do, though, I want to tell you again about my addiction to Magic Spoon cereal. I'll tell you why I love it so much. Well, number one, folks, it's high protein. Take a look at this. These taste like Fruity Pebbles, the things that would pack your body full of sugar as a kid. You just eat over on that sugar high, but no sugar on these bad boys. High proteins, low carbs. I'm looking at the box here. You see them on the screen. This is unbelievable. I don't know how it's possible. I think Magic Spoon has some sort of magicians from the future that come back, give you great tasting cereal that's good for you, high in protein, low carbs, 4 grams of net carbs, and no sugar, which is the most insane thing. You think it's going to taste like cardboard given those stats, but it tastes awesome. My favorite two flavors, the fruity, tastes like Fruity Pebbles, and what are these ones? They call it Cocoa. Tastes, of course, like Cocoa Pebbles or one of those Count Chocula cereal. It is magicspoon.com/GoBlue is the website to go to. Make sure you type it in just as you see on the screen. You get $5 off, automatically added to your order. Also, I'm going to toss it down in the comments. I will toss it in the top of the description of today's video. If you forget, magicspoon.com/GoBlue. Go to the comments. Go to the description, click on it, get your $5 off. You will not regret it. Believe me, I guarantee it. magicspoon.com/GoBlue. Now, we showed you the top 5 in the recruiting rankings of 2022 class, this upcoming senior year. The guys that'll be, some of them on campus coming up in January, just 6 short months from now. Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas, Sark making a little splash, although most of the top players from Texas are not going to Texas. They still have the number 8 class in the country. Oregon, number 9, and Michigan now with Myles Pollard is only like a half point, so just more than a half point behind them to overtake number 9 in the 2022 top 10 ranking. So it's a far cry from several weeks ago or even a month and a half ago where Michigan had like number 23, 24 class, popped up at number 17 a couple weeks ago, then got to a number 11. Now with these last few commitments this week are firmly at number 10, and frankly, with the story we'll talk about with you here in a couple of seconds, they might actually be number 9 or number 8 before the end of the week. And I'm saying this about this recruiting rankings. Finally, we get some recruiting momentum, because if you think back to October 31st, Michigan plays their second game of the year after an amazing game at Minnesota. You're getting all kinds of crazy. This is a national title team, Joe Milton for Heisman, and they just fell off a cliff from there. There was nothing good that came out of the season after that. And then you get to the offseason, you're letting 6 coaches go, then your new co-DC leaves to take another head coaching job, and you completely turn over the entire recruiting staff. I put this month of June as a big litmus test for where Jim Harbaugh's program was. If they didn't make a splash in recruiting after only having a few guys committed to start the month, with all these visits and these official visits coming in the month of June, I was going to be concerned. It got started on June 19th. Michigan has had 8 commitments since June 19th. CJ Stokes, the running back, only a 3-star out of South Carolina. I trust Mike Hart's analysis and his scouting of high school running backs than I had, and I certainly do the guys that Michigan's had in previous staffs scouting running backs. With the turnover we've seen in that position, that should be no surprise. Then Aaron Alexander, the 3-star athlete. Jayden Denegal came out of nowhere, right? Some people are calling him a Michigan State lean. When Nate Johnson committed to Utah, then 2-3 days later, Jayden Denegal out of California, 4-star quarterback, committed to Michigan. That was a big-time move, something that caught a lot of people off guard. I'm sure it even caught the Michigan staff off guard. Alessandro Lorenzetti, the 3-star offensive tackle, on the 25th, and then Cavante Henry, 3-star linebacker, also committed on June 25th. Then it was a quiet week and a half. Colston Loveland, out of Idaho, number 1 player in the state of Idaho, a 3-star tight end in the composite, but Rivals, I believe, has him as a 4-star. The other 2 services as a 3-star, but he's the favorite for player of the year in the state of Idaho. And then on the day after the 4th of July, 7'5", Mario Eugenio committed, the defensive end, 4-star, out of the state of Florida, Clearwater, Florida. And then Myles Pollard, 3-star cornerback. I said the composite, ESPN 24/7 and Rivals has him as like the number, what do we say, number 2. I'm going to go back and look really quick. 439 overall in the composite rankings, 3-star. I told you, I've got him as a top 50 player in the JY365. But these guys are not going to get it done to overcome the hump that Jim Harbaugh has not been able to do, which is catch Ohio State, because their recruiting success, folks, it's just crazy at this point. It is absolutely mind-boggling. Just think about the last few days. They've got another top 100 player who's a wide receiver. They got the number 3 player in last year's class who's just kind of waiting around to take campus visits. They'll be on Ohio State's campus here in the next couple weeks. And they just continue to pile on commit after commit after commit. They have by far and away the number 1 class in 2022. Some even say, although they're number 2 in 2021 behind Alabama, the Tide having more players. So I think they got the little bit bump in the total points. You can make an argument with 6 5-stars that Ohio State's 2021 class could be considered as the best ever, if not the most talented ever at the very top 6, 8, 10 players. You never had 6 5-stars plus, I think, where they had like 7, 8 top 100 guys there going to that Ohio State class. So if Michigan wants to get it done, you've got to start layering on with these 3- and 4-star guys ranked 100, 200, 300, 400. You've got to start getting top 50, top 20 guys. You've got one in Will Johnson, but there's still plenty of fish out there. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. There's a little bit of teasing out there, talking about a couple 5-star that Michigan could end up landing. All right, one more ask. Got my producer in my ear. Say, James, I got to put this up on screen one more time, because I think the people need to know that the production staff, we just got like hundreds of guys back here just making those graphics. They're going to go on strike. You're not going to have any more shows, and we just need 12. So it's a very simple ask. If you don't like the show, give me a hate follow and comment down below. Say, Yoder, you suck. I'll take it as long as we get to 13,600, and we can keep the staff around here from going on strike. And I'll just have to do iPhone videos in my mom's basement. Nobody wants that, so go ahead and subscribe. It's youtube.com/MichiganTV. All right. Mario Eugenio. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that, Mario. Pronouncing your name right. 4-star defensive end out of Clearwater. Committed on just 2 days ago, on the 5th. Then the next day, yesterday, July 6th in the morning, he puts out, remember how I said I'm bringing dogs with me? Just keep watching the next few days. Now, the key letter there is the S in the word dogs, because that indicates that it's a plural, and there'll be more than one next few days. Few is what, 3? Maybe some people consider 4. So put that out yesterday. There's day 2, 3, 4. So I would expect, if we're taking this at face value, that Michigan may get another commitment outside of Myles Pollard here in the next couple days. Hopefully, one other guy. There's dogs. Maybe it's 3 players. Maybe there's 2 more commits coming later this week. But a couple folks that I think would be a huge boon and would be just such a momentum builder for Michigan would be one, Walter Nolen, right? Who was on campus with Mario Eugenio 2.5 weeks ago, June 18th recruiting weekend visit. I'm sure they talk to each other. I'm sure they exchange cell phone numbers. I'm sure they DM on social media. That would be an interesting one. But how about this name? Maybe a new name for some folks. Josh CONERLY, 5-star offensive tackle out of the state of Washington. Harbaugh and like half the Michigan coaching staff went out and worked a camp in his home state of Washington a few weeks back during the middle of the week in the month of June, where they had all kinds of things going on with guys on campus. Went out there just to get some face time with this 5-star offensive tackle. He is now coming to the barbecue at the Big House here later in the month of July, and has put Michigan on his list of 5 official visits. I believe he's going to take it during the season. So if Michigan lands Walter Nolen, or if Josh CONERLY, maybe it won't come in the next few days like he had kind of teased there. If it comes later in the month at the barbecue in the Big House, that would be a big time win for Michigan. And I think it would make fans and folks like me just a little more excited about where the momentum of this program is going after really 8 months or so of almost nothing but bad news. So keep an eye out. If there's another commitment, we'll have news for you here on the Michigan Football Report. And before we go, just make sure you follow me on Twitter. It is at James Yoder. I'll give myself a little pat on the back. Voted recently best person to follow on Twitter for Michigan football. Voting committee was my mom. Nevertheless, a vote counts. All votes count. And you should go ahead and follow me. And if you don't like my takes on Michigan, some people say, James, you're too negative on Harbaugh. You need to be more positive. That's fine. I also make fun of Ohio State as much as I can on a frequent basis. So if you like a little bit of dry humor, also at James Yoder on Twitter. We're going to be back with more Michigan football news, rumors, and recruiting here in the next day or so. If there's a commitment, we'll definitely jump on and hit a show. But until then, go blue.